this final matchup. Really the marquee matchup of the day in my eyes. TSM versus Impulse.
Gotta say, there have been some really pleasant surprises today all the same. Dignitas looking better than we expected them to.
Yep.
Teammate also better than typical, so we'll see if Team Impulse can continue that trend of the slightly underrated teams really showing up here. Aww. If it were last week, he would have killed that ward. So right now we start with battle lines and normal lane assignments as well. So we may just see that 2-on-2 that, as you mentioned earlier, TSM not known for being great at.
30 seconds until minions.
It's not like they're awful at it either. It's
no.
a good standard game that TSM can play. Sion against Maokai. Darius would be able to get a slight pressure lead early. We'd have to see how Jinx Channa does, and that would almost call attention to the mid lane, but the defensive line was but a ruse. There's going to be some lane swapping attempts. It's all guesswork at this point.
Yeah, that's the thing with holding battle lines like this is if neither team wants to push in, it's just a simple recall in your territory, and you can essentially blind pick your lanes. Both teams blind pick top lane for the duo. But that's going to be the assignments here. Dyrus looks like he will kill the wolves for himself.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, Dyrus dies. And then gets revenge. Pretty fitting to Sion's story overall.
It is. It's a nice little early game strategy.
Interestingly, he started...
Q.
Yeah, so when we saw it from Chris yesterday, he started W. Because I'm pretty sure it still counts the passive when you're undead. And he'd get 6 bonus health or so.
Darius will get it. Uh-oh. Nah, he's fine. This is the Sion way. Satisfying. All right, so we got 2v2 lanes. Impact actually didn't do any sapling stuff.
Yeah.
So there will be a TP advantage on Maokai, but an experience disadvantage in the bottom lane here.
Only a few minions missing. Xiao Xiao already looking aggressive at level 2, pushing Bjergsen in a bit. Bjergsen with biscuits over regular potions here, trading out his buff duration mastery for that.
Warding in this mid lane is going to be more important than usual. Mainly because Bjergsen is such... He gets such support from his jungle. And in order for Xiao Xiao to be in that lane successfully, he has to be really aggressive against Bjergsen to avoid getting shoved in.
Uh-oh.
Oh, dear.
Already. Nice play of Bjergsen. Notices one minion's going to die. Charm it right away.
What an early gank. And a bind!
A bind into the Q. Wild Turtle's exhausted. He flashes out, but Rush hops to a trinket ward. Summoner heal, though, means he's going to trade his flash away for that one. Pulls Lust Boy's exhaust as well. 3 summoners for 2.
So speaking of 2v2 lanes, even though that was a gank, it was set up with the Dark Binding. TSM was already getting shoved in by the Graves, which is what happens with the matchup, but he was in a dangerous position, and he honestly does get punished for it. Can't hit them all, as far as Sonic Waves go for Rush.
It moves so slowly he couldn't hear it. He relies on his sense of sound to land on most of his targets, so unfortunate for Rush's Lee Sin. TSM not winning the online vote by as much as I would have thought, to be honest.
Oh man, Bjergsen working around that wind wall wonderfully.
Tags the Q again. Xiao Xiao forced back pretty early.
Love it when Bjergsen and Xiao Xiao go head-to-head. There's always so much aggression in that lane. Xiao Xiao wanted to push the issue on everybody. And Bjergsen just being so good at mid lane in general. Playing a very measured game.
And I'm always curious when I see Yasuo's, what kind of pages they go for. Seems the standard is 2 lifesteal quints, no crit itemization, or masteries, or runes I should say. Just relying on the Avarice Blade for that. People ask what Yasuo would build with the 5% crit nerf on the Infinity Edge.
The same things.
Probably the same things. Certainly going into Shiv on this one. But no like crit runes or anything, just going to rely on 80% crit chance with a full build. So Summoner spells notwithstanding, this game actually holding very close to equal. You can see though, just Adrian walking up puts so much threat on TSM. They have the wards to know there's no Lee Sin here, but still, just the fact that they're missing 3 combat summoners.
It's quite
You got to be afraid of fights.
They do have great ward coverage, though. That's one thing they've been able to throw down. They have every single possible approach from Rush warded right now.
And they even have Santorin coming up as well, noticing that top lane will now push in toward TSM. Santorin now behind Adrian. They ping towards him, actually.
This has got to be
Last
Santorin
boy,
doing something.
he burns the dash to go in.
Is he just going to finish his recall?
No damage.
Wow.
Wow.
So what was the point of Santorin being there if they're not going to go when Adrian gets aggressive like that and walks well beyond the halfway point without wards? Like, that's a... So here's the thing. Impulse has very deep wards in the jungle there, which is why they felt safe, but even so, Santorin had managed to make it through there.
True.
Very surprised TSM didn't decide to go a little bit more aggressive there. They're really just hoping to get the farm from Wild Turtle.
All right, now they are down 10. We'll see how many they can get under the turret. Interestingly, Lustboy has picked up 6 CS. More than I would have expected him to. Makes the score, I guess, closer than you would have thought, since you have to add a couple extra ones there.
The lanes themselves are equal in CS, but as far as carry gold distribution, it's 100 in favor of Apollo, which is just a minuscule advantage. But that is all that has happened this game, is that summoner spell advantage, which will no longer be an advantage shortly via no return game from Rush.
Yeah.
And it will then be about the team fights and the team play.
Oh, Xiao Xiao is 6, though. Gets charmed first by Bjergsen.
Trouble.
There's the dashes. Xiao Xiao. Good dodge by Bjergsen.
Yeah, and Xiao Xiao needed to throw that one out.
Jeez.
He wants to stick around for these last few minutes. He needs support from Rush, who should be getting called to that mid lane to help out.
Bjergsen is flash.
Yeah, he's going to be completely fine. I mean, this would be the perfect counter gank if Rush did anything aggressive on Bjergsen.
Waiting for it. Good win wall.
Whoa. Here's the thing. I mean, this is why Bjergsen is playing so aggressive, is because he has a level 6 Santorin right behind him. They can apply a lot of turret pressure here just because Santorin is called up. This is a very TSM-esque type play, but they're going to end up actually falling away and just having the farm go to Rush.
Yeah. And I got to say, very quick level 6s by both junglers. I tend to not see them get ultis this early. I just tend to see them like sitting in rushes, waiting for counter ganks. Not the case for either player. Ults earned before 8 minutes in, and it means everyone has to respect them once again. Now bot lane, I think the power spike does come in for Graves earlier. His sort of level 7, I would say, much better than Jinx's level 7. And so the BF sword timed team fights or just skirmishes would typically go Impulse's way.
Yeah, Apollo need 100 more gold to get a BF sword on Graves. Should be able to get that shortly. You can see the gold totals coming in now. The top lane matchup, which is in the bottom lane, is a total farm fest, as one could expect from Sion versus Maokai with no jungle pressure.
Yeah, just the first few recalls coming in for both sides. Dyrus, I want to know if he goes Cowl or if he goes for the Fast Frozen Heart, knowing that he's facing a magic damage laner. Hedges his bets, gets health and armor.
I think that's the smart call overall. In fact, Dyrus can turn himself into a brick wall this game. The team composition from Impulse is incredibly physical damage heavy, and they have very few things to keep TSM honest in their build paths. It's not like they have a true damage Vayne or a split damage physical damage dealer somewhere. They're all physical damage, and when Dyrus tanks up, it's not like Maokai is going to kill him with his magic damage.
Yeah.
Dyrus and Santorin actually should, after their offensive item, at least for at least for Vi, build entirely armor. And it would give TSM a really big edge.
And you're seeing how fearless Dyrus is right now, clearing a pink ward in full view. Nothing to be afraid of. Rush is going to pop his vision onto a ward as he runs around through the map. Bjergsen, I believe, has dodged every single knock-up from Xiao Xiao. Very impressive by him to do so far. Otherwise, he's pushing in. Xiao Xiao still grabbing his farm pretty nicely, but Impulse going for a quick push on this one. Janna and Jinx are top lane, sends the rocket out for a bit of scouting and maybe some damage.
Oh! He got it! That almost never works.
Well, that just happened. Wild Turtle busts out the champagne. I would too. The Dragon Steel is real.
It was blind, too.
Oh, yeah.
He was like, yeah, they're doing Dragon. Let's throw out that. A little bit of luck involved.
Yeah.
With something like that.
You know how when you send rockets in outer space, it's usually like the name of the country on the side?
Okay.
Jinx rockets have TSM on the side. At least the ones that Wild Turtle puts out.
In the future. Oh, man. That is a huge swing. Especially because of the full physical damage team that Impulse has. They need to get those early dragons going.
Uh-oh. Impact gets found. Vault Breaker's on. Jumps into Burlesque Boy. Immediate knock up afterwards. Xiao's going to go down to Bjergsen. 1v1 in the mid lane. Impact gets out, losing his flash as payment.
To add insult to injury as well, Xiao ends up getting soloed in the mid lane there by Bjergsen. He had invested a little bit of time to go down and help with that dragon, whereas Bjergsen was just able to shove out the lane, putting Xiao at a disadvantage because he was walking into a line of minions and unable to apply pressure. All off of that. I mean, off of the catch and off the kill.
Ooh.
They're taking complete control of this map. He's going to try and ult away.
He's gonna. Headbutts a wall. Good enough.
Too tanky.
Adrian couldn't get in front of him in time to block it off. Exhaust a bit unnecessary in that case. Apollo just left hitting some minions, but you talk about Dyrus being a brick. 2 consecutive binds and an ult from Morgana. Still, like half health, not a big deal.
Yeah. Really, right after that Dragon Steel, so much good happened. Like, Xiao was late to coming back to this lane, sticking around with a little bit too low health, and then because Bjergsen tagged him with both ends of that REQ, it was just lights out for Xiao. And I actually don't know now how Impulse is going to try and get their footing back in this game. They've lost the top tier outer turret, or the outer turret, first tier turret. Yep, something like that. And they've lost the dragon, and they've lost the mid lane. Plus, they're a full physical team against an armor stacking side.
A lot of things are tricky here. They've not been able to push around Dyrus, that's for sure. Static shift for Xiao may help a little bit. Unfortunately, it's not going to be a shift for Apollo. I'd almost think that it'd be worth it in this case. Just add some magic damage crits to split your build around a little bit.
Yeah, almost. It's just Graves is so heavily reliant on his
I mean,
attack damage.
Certainly Yomu's is good. In fact, Dyrus trading blows, but a level lead for Dyrus makes him a pretty happy guy.
Yep. Very smart build by Dyrus. Going just for the health, not needing to itemize magic resist.
Really Warmogs for him, actually.
And now,
like,
the pain
begins.
begins.
In for Xiao. Easy spells to hit from there. Great gank by Santorin. The matchup got opened up. It's almost closed now.
I mean, and Bjergsen even landed the charm. That was such a confident charm. Bjergsen should have waited for the assault and battery to knock Xiao up for the guaranteed charm, but they just made it work even better because he landed the skill shot.
Apollo with Black Shield still forced to flash away, though. Good damage. Wild Turtle's gonna slow Adrian. The rocket could be lethal damage, but he goes back for Apollo. Flashes away. Ults it. Tags Apollo, but he lives with 12
there's some backup.
health.
A whole lot of it. All 5 members of TSM bottom lane.
Uh-oh, here comes Santorin. The zap's gonna catch Adrian. A lot of spells burned there. 2 quick kills. More for Bjergsen. He's 4-0. Bottom lane outer goes down. 3 turrets as well for TSM.
TSM really taking control of this game, preying on the inexperience of Team Impulse, just getting 1 inch, and TSM's just exploded that close early game into a ton of positive plays around the map. Rush trying desperately against all 5 members of TSM. Nothing he can do.
Nothing at all. 2 turrets and 2 kills for that play. Impact slowly pushes the top lane, but I don't even think he kills the turret for this. He was left alone for a minute straight, and very little happened.
Yeah, Dyrus had shoved him in pretty heavily before the teleport down to the bottom lane. He will probably get the turret when all is said and done, but at what cost? They're already down 4 turrets as a team. This only makes it 3.
4,000 gold and a dragon is the lead for TSM right now. Mid lane, though, under fire from the recalls. Windwall should allow them to take this one down without much counterattack, but will they stay is the question. Bjergsen puts out a lot of pressure. No chart. Binding was close, though.
Wow.
Oh my god, goes in, takes him down! Are you serious, Bjergsen? Rush forced to flash away. Santorin's there. Ulti is up. Will his team chase, though? Kicks him back.
So I don't think you should be giving anybody Ahri in picks and bans on this patch. But Bjergsen in particular is especially bad.
Yeah.
He's got that one solo kill. And I mean, it's like the Cloud9 game on steroids after Bjergsen got that first solo kill, because everything is just falling in TSM's favor with Bjergsen right behind it.
There's the charm. There's Impact getting pretty hit right there. Goes down, and now they're re-engaged. They pick up Santorin. They might get Bjergsen, but the damage output from the Ahri and the Jinx is so high. Bjergsen still every single kill on his team.
Another double kill as well. 7 kills now, 15 minutes into the game. Why did he build the Need to See Large Rod? He should have been building a Soul Stealer if he had confidence in himself after that Xerath game. Everything fell apart here for Impulse. They're not making the proper rotations, and TSM is so far ahead of them with what they're planning to do. I mean, even here, Rush was thinking about a flank, but by the time he got there, all the damage had been done. If they were a little bit earlier, they could have gotten the shutdown on Bjergsen, but they were late, and they did not.
Xiao in a losing proposition here. Knocks up Dyrus, doesn't bother to go for it. No ult so far seen by Yasuo, and at this point, would you even want to try? Going into the enemy team seems like certain death. Frozen Heart done. Half of Warmog as well for Dyrus. His AD team has no damage to deal.
Nope. They need to get onto Bjergsen at some point really early on in the fight, whether it be from a Dark Binding or from a Flash Engage from Impact. But with that, they would need to probably get him while his ultimate, his Spirit Rush is down, because just a Janna Shield or a Scion ultimate just to kind of peel back on the rest of Impulse's engaging team would be enough to repel that push. I think TSM's just going to keep grouping mid here, looking for charms to land.
So quick bookkeeping by TSM. They grab the red buff. Dragon's been up for a while, and they're getting a position to take that one down. Should be plenty safe here. Wild Turtle over the wall. Santorin tanks it up. Janna Shield makes that safe. There we go. Dragon number 2 goes to TSM. 4 turrets to 2 in this game. I want to see what the next target ends up being. Mid and top tier 2 are both available for the taking. Are they blue buff first as well?
Yeah, Bjergsen going for his Zanya's next. Try and make sure he can't get caught. He's about 500 gold off of that, maybe 300. Maybe he can let some others get involved in the kills.
Nah.
Instead of taking them all.
It's team solo mid for a reason, Jack. If he gets assists this game, moral victory for TIP.
Very true. And with all that, it's only a 4,000 gold lead, but the reason it is so lopsided is because of the full physical team from Impulse that needed to get an early lead, being down dragons, being down turrets, and being down gold, to now a Frozen Heart Warmog's Scion.
Oh god, that charm. Rush. Okay, he jumps away.
Mercury treads, very smart buy. The rush there. But he still's got Spirit Rush up.
Adrian's taking so much damage. Sion goes in as well. That is not win wallable. 1 for 1 though. It's actually the kill onto Ahri, so is there enough happening on the backside of this one? But it's Wild Turtle picking up a lot of damage. 2 for 1 so far. Apollo locked up a bit. Impact trying to run away. A little bit of counterattack damage, but Impact's going to get jumped on by Dyrus. 3 for 1 here, TSM. The turret's going to go down as well. And more good fights to the blue side.
Yeah, Bjergsen did fall in that one, but you could see the rest of TSM is still far ahead. Oh no! Dyrus so strong, can't get him.
Clutch knockup just in time to save his own life, but...
Yeah, I think it was Xiao who ended up catching Bjergsen there with the knockup and bursting him down on top of the amount of Graves burst.
Of his team's 10 kills, he is 100% kill participation. He is doing so much of the heavy lifting for TSM. Some of that's solo kills, some of that's his team fight presence, but you're right, Bjergsen has to be kept track of by Team Impulse. And they've really not done too much on that front. Santorin clears the ward away. Adrian was standing on top one the whole time. Now Bjergsen's going to spot him. Black Shield comes out. A single Foxfire tick breaks his Black Shield.
It's doing a bit of damage at this point. It's got 4 points in Foxfire. And that one Foxfire tick does 265 damage. Of course, Adrian maxing Black Shield, or sorry, maxing Dark Binding, so his Black Shield only shielding 151 damage at the moment.
Yeah. It's going to require like 70 or so magic resist to not get popped by a single Foxfire. Another wave through top goes in. They go for the engage. They find a little bit. Santorin loses some help, but Bjergsen is safe. Santorin still trying to limp out. They finally get the kill. 1-for-0. Rush on the wings. No ulti available for Lee Sin. The re-engage by Bjergsen is a lot of damage. Binding hits. He pops Zhonya's. Impact's going to go down, though. 1-for-1 in this fight, and Jinx is still laying out the hurt. It's going to be pressure on the top lane turret. Xiao has his knockup back again. Rush lanes a Q. Hops back out. Nothing else gained by Impulse.
So still a 1-for-1, a good hide and brush strategy there by Impulse, getting some sneak attacks on the Maokai despite this 7,000 gold deficit, but not quite able to stand up to this team. I mean, those static, not even a static shift, just a Jinx rocket doing so much damage. You'd think Impulse would have to fall away from this turret. They're waiting on a Yasuo ult, but it's too late.
There's the rocket, there's the kill picked up. Charm into death. Down goes tier 2. Balthor gets excited, finds Rush. One gonna kill him! 2-for-0. Impact TP's into the party a little bit late. He's now alone. The slow from Zap, the chaining on down. Windwall might save. Wild Turtle flashes in. Bound under the turret though. Wild Turtle is gonna go down.
It almost seemed like TSM was blocking him in there after the Dark Binding as well. They're like, what are you doing, man? Stop chasing kills.
I saw that dance band from Dyrus. That seemed on purpose.
Yeah, making fun of him for his death. TSM playing a little bit loose with the 9,000 gold advantage. Slightly sloppy play getting initiated on by the Maokai, but obviously Impulse overstayed there and TSM was able to capitalize.
And now it's 14-4. It's over 8,000 gold up. Another what's looking like quick game, as TSM have so far largely not faltered in this one. Breaking down everything that TIP tries to do. No good scorelines from anybody here. Xiao especially getting soloed multiple times by Bjergsen. Not what you expect to see from that player.
No, especially not after Xiao had such a good game yesterday. But it's a very, we said it's a very aggressive pick against Inari. First time we've seen Yasuo this year in the NLCS. Just to look at the end of this fight as well. All started because Bjergsen landed the charm on Apollo. Black Shield, too little too late. Jinx rocket could finish him up. And I think the big reason Impulse was waiting around at that turret is they were planning on a flank initiation for Maokai, who came in right at the end of that fight after they'd lost the kill. That charm doesn't land, they maybe catch TSM in a 5v4 under the turret with Maokai from the back. It just crumbled before they were ready to make the play.
And so unfortunate for Team Impulse that the skill shots are landing from Bjergsen, and the Dane is dodging them himself. Dragon up in 6 seconds. That would be number 3 for Team Solo Mid. They've got pressure everywhere else. Everything but inhibitor turrets is down. They're going to get the waves pushed up at the very least to start. After these minions drop, though, we might see the Dragon attempt. No real reason to play Siege when there's objectives up, so
yeah,
should be a safe call.
Easily take the 3rd Dragon. And honestly, I think TSM will probably take this Dragon easily and then find either the game-winning fight or the fight that gives them Baron in the red side jungle of Team Impulse. That's just the way this match is going. They're already 9,000 gold up. Ahri is a pick-based champion, and Impulse is going to want to stop that Baron most likely or find a perfect fight somewhere in there. TSM needs to get ward control first and then try and find the fight.
And right now TSM are doing just that. Dyrus face tanks anything. There is literally no one that can threaten Dyrus as long as his team is within 2 screens of him. Lust Boy hit up by Rush. Rush got to be careful. Hops back to Adrian. So many of his safeguards have been defensive, getting away from TSM and how scary they are. A couple of wards do go unspotted, though. The vision's not been blacked out yet. Baron not easy to bait yet by Team Solo Mid. Pretty big wave in the bot side. No teleport for Impact means he can't go there faithfully.
Something to note this game is it is really quite remarkable how Xiao always gets his farm. He is ahead of Bjergsen in CS in a game that has completely fallen apart on a melee champion such as Yasuo. Always impressive. But now TSM, they could find a fight. They got it.
It's going to go for the root.
That's a fight.
Might not be great for Team Impulse, though. They ulti in onto Rush, who ward hops away. Impact tanked plenty of damage and walked away. Slow from Dyrus, though, buys him some time. Flashes away from the Q knockup. And now, Santorin spots Rush. There's nowhere for Lee Sin to go. Santorin gets the kill credit for this one. And TSM look to Baron.
A bit of an awkward assault and battery from Santorin, but it does get the job done. They push back the fight. They knew they had a 9,000 gold lead, and now they can go for Baron with no threat of smite steal. That was pretty much all TSM needed out of that fight, so they were straight to the point. Oh, jumping around that wind wall.
Gets around the wind wall, trades exhaust with Xiao Wei Xiao, and out the man goes. Two-man knockup. Adrian does land the stun onto Bjergsen. Ulti not going to be in time. Apollo cannot do what Wild Turtle did 20 minutes ago. Another knockup there onto Adrian. Zapple hit as well. Rocket!
Not
Not
quite
enough.
Nonetheless, TSM with Baron. Anyone working on banner command? Doesn't look like it. They shouldn't need it to finish out this game.
Raptor Cloak and Kindle Gem here for Lust Boy. Bjergsen waiting on cooldowns. There's his blue buff. Empowered recall. One last shopping trip, including nearly a Bloodthirster for Wild Turtle. And the start of a death cap for Bjergsen. Thornmail done for Dyrus. So many big, powerful items done for TSM. The tanks aren't dying. The damage dealers deal plenty. Apollo still has not finished his second item yet. Xiao Wei Xiao yet to deal enough damage in team fights.
And I don't think he'll ever reach a point where he's doing enough damage in team fights.
27 minutes in, TSM look for the mid lane. They have sent Dyrus bot. Nobody topside just yet, although they could get a third super Baron buffed wave going. So far, it's the 0-4-1 split, though. Couple of defensive pink wards for Team Impulse. They're trying to keep the vision up. They're not content to sit inside their base. They want to make TSM work for every step they go forward. You can see wards right outside the turret just to get a little bit more vision at all times.
Yeah, and they're doing the same split push strategy. Scion top lane, daring Maokai to try and clear the minions, which are hard for him.
Xiao Wei Xiao, wow!
They're just looking for harass or charms on this side, it looks like. And they got a lot of it. They may go in off this or to safely take the turret.
And here we go. Turret goes down now onto the inhibitor itself. 3 dragons in means they move nice and fast. Rocket comes in. Apollo tanks it. And just by pushing their faces forward, that is the first inhibitor kill now for Team Solomid, 28 minutes in. The wave is already their bot lane thanks to Dyrus' earlier efforts, and they can keep this going. Impulse have healed up. Can they try again for round number 2? Jinx ulti is down. No exhaust for Lust Boy. Xiao Wei Xiao gets a knockup only onto Dyrus. Nothing to do there.
Doesn't even break his shield.
Nope. Bjergsen, though, half HP, did take a bit of poke now. Of course, being Jinx, he can't sustain.
Slight risk trying to push this turret, but...
Age and a half. Rush goes in. Nice dash back from Bjergsen. Dodges Santor, but there's the kill picked up. Jungler dead. Apollo one hit away.
Man.
Wild Turtle can't quite chase, but they find Impact. They find Xiao Wei Xiao. He's going to trade back and forth. 3 kills picked up in this fight for Team Solo Mid. Wild Turtle goes over the back line. Can't quite find any more, but the inhibitor certainly going to fall now. 2 inhibs dead. A minion wave right there in the mid lane. They're going to backdoor it anyway, though.
Looks like a sub 30-minute victory here for TSM, tying themselves with CLG for first place in North America.
Team Solomid and Counter Logic Gaming, first place teams, both at 5-1. Team Impulse falls down to third at 3-3. What a great victory by Team Solomid.